Hello and welcome again, class. This is another group presentation. We're going to be learning about the Joint Commission, which they have agreed to meet me here on a Saturday afternoon. And as I am sure you are all aware, there's nothing students would rather do than hang out with their teacher on a Saturday afternoon. But it's a great topic to cover, very important one, of course, and we're going to be diving into that. You'll have to bear with me a little bit just because we're having some audio issues, and so my arms might be getting a little tired because I'm actually holding the phone up to my microphone, my camera phone microphone on my laptop or computers there. So this should work. Hopefully everyone can hear it okay. But I'll go ahead and turn the time on over to you guys.
Okay, so our topic was the Joint Commission.
If you want me to change the slides, just let me know.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
That's okay.
All right, so the first question was, what does accreditation mean? Accreditation is a self and external peer assessment process that healthcare organizations use to determine the competency of a specific subject or area of expertise and determine how to implement ways for improvement. Next slide, please. When was it founded and by whom? For what purpose? The Joint Commission was founded in 1951 by Ernest Amory Codman. Their purpose is to continuously improve healthcare for the public by evaluating healthcare organizations and holding them to high standards to provide effective care of the highest quality and value to their patients. I just wanted to add that the Joint Commission is a way of patient advocacy, and so they advocate for the patient to make sure that regardless of any factors, whether it's background or gender or anything, like regardless of any factors, they are to receive the highest quality of care possible in any hospital. Next slide, please. And what is the significance of the word joint? The significance of the word joint is that the Commission collaborates with other stakeholders in evaluating healthcare organizations and together inspire them to provide safe and effective care of the highest quality and value to improve healthcare for the entire public. Okay, next slide, please. Okay. So what kind of organizations are eligible for Joint Commission accreditation? So the Joint Commission, it goes and allows the hospitals, and here's the list here. So it's general hospitals, children's hospitals, nursing homes, long-term facilities, medical equipment services. It's kind of just an overview. And so we can go to the next slide, please. Okay, so different competitors that are out there. So that would be other companies that can go and give accreditation to hospitals. And so on here we have the College of American, what is it? Pathologists, I think, yeah. And we also have Global Clinical Rating and American Association for accreditation of ambulatory surgery facilities. So those are a few. They also have, those are the main ones. We'll go with these. And these other, I guess you call them companies, but they can come in and also accredit a hospital. What's another word for accreditate or give credentials to, right? Okay. And so these companies are different because they usually specialize more. Like, for example, the American Association of Accreditation for Ambulatory Surgery Centers, they focus more on like plastic surgery, like agencies for that. And then other ones, such as a big one that's new, is DMV. And they work like with lab work and things like that. Instead of before, several years ago, like as it says at the beginning, that Joint Commission has been accrediting hospitals for more than 50 years. they were kind of the main ones, and now other ones have come in and have begun to do the same work that the Joint Commission does. Next slide, please. Okay. And for the percentage on here, which is 91%, I'm actually looking back on, like, for the next week's lesson, it says that I think it was 82%. Oh, yes, 82% is the correct percentage for how many hospitals the Joint Commission accredited. Okay, go ahead, Phil.
Oh, next slide, please. Okay, so the question is, what is the meaning of the term deemed status? Deemed status refers to a facility that has been surveyed and accredited by the Joint Commission to automatically qualify for CMS certification, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. The federal government recognizes the Joint Commission accreditation as meeting and exceeding the requirements for the Medicare and Medicaid programs. So this gives them an automatic in with that. Next slide, please. Okay, who gives it? All right, once the Joint Commission has surveyed a healthcare organization and found it in compliance with their standards, they must submit an application for deemed status to the CMS for review and approval. Next slide, please. To whom is it given? Voluntary deemed status, the Joint Commission is available for ambulatory surgical centers, clinical laboratories, critical access hospitals, home health agencies, hospice agencies, and hospitals. Next slide, please. The process and frequency of Joint Commission surveys. Any healthcare organization may apply for Joint Commission accreditation under the hospital accreditation standards if the requirements are met. To earn and maintain accreditation, the hospital must undergo an on-site survey by a Joint Commission survey team. This team is made up of one or more industry professionals, like doctors, nurses, and senior administrators. Next slide, please. This is a continuation. The survey must be done at least every 3 years. It is unannounced and can happen between 18 and 36 months following its previous full survey. The Joint Commission evaluates an organization's performance of functions and processes aimed at continuously improving patient outcomes. This is accomplished by tracing the care delivered to patients, verbal and written information provided to the Joint Commission, and on-site observations. Annual fees for hospitals are based on size and the service offered by the hospital and can range from $2,180 to $37,245. Next slide, please. Why would a hospital choose to be accredited by an organization other than Joint Commission? Other organizations that do accreditation, or some of them can be less costly, and the criteria that must be met is less strict than the Joint Commission. The Joint Commission is the gold standard and is highly sought after by hospitals that want to raise the bar and have the highest accreditation standards of quality care. Next slide, please. Oh, okay, this is a reference page.
Okay, is that it for you guys' presentation?
Yes.
Perfect. So let's do a couple question and answers. I won't do too much since both my arms are kind of asleep from holding up the phone. But I hope everyone was able to hear the presentation. Y'all three did a great job with it.
Thank you.
Now, my first question for whoever would like to answer is, are you familiar with the hospital that you go to? Are they accredited? And if so, by who?
Well, I work at a hospital, and they were just at our hospital 2 to 3 weeks ago. The Joint Commission were. So they were there for several days, 2 or 3 days, looking all over the hospital and making sure that we passed. So our company uses the Joint Commission.
Oh, good. One thing that I think is always interesting, Phil, and maybe you can see it as well, is it seems like The weeks where Joint Commission's coming is when the managers and the administrators are a little bit on edge. You can tell they're a little more nervous.
Yes,
There's a lot more going on because it is such a big deal. Did you see that with your hospital too?
I did. I did. I work in the OR, and the OR managers were pretty busy, as well as other managers as well. Yeah, you're right. There's a big hype when they're around and trying to make sure everything is right.
Yeah. Bruna, Alicia, any thoughts on the hospitals where you might go to or work at?
That I'm aware of, I don't think so. I don't remember the last time. I usually go to like a healthcare facility near my house. It's just like a healthcare center, and so I don't believe so. And then the other one I go to just to get checkups is like the school one. So.
Okay.
I know, like I haven't been to the hospital for a long time, but like I'm from Seattle, and so I know my brother goes to Seattle Children's often, and that's a pretty important high up hospital that does have accreditation.
Are they accredited by Joint Commission or someone else? Do you know?
Oh, I'm not for sure.
Okay. You'll find most hospitals will be accredited, and even most hospitals, almost all hospitals will be accredited. Most of them will be by the Joint Commission, but there's other ones that are making a lot of, I guess you'd say, headway compared to Joint Commission. Like ISO is another one you'll hear a lot of, and another group did a presentation on that. After your research, has your opinion of whether a hospital should or shouldn't be accredited, has that changed? If you found out that the hospital you had been going to or a hospital you might be going to is not accredited by anybody, would that make you hesitant to go to it?
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, especially after reading up on the Joint Commission and how they the process of like how they accredit their hospitals, I wouldn't want to go to any hospital who hasn't been accredited by any type of company at all. I think that would be a little. Yeah, and I also think it gives an extra safety or precaution because you know that they have done the requirements and that they meet a certain standard. Yeah.
I think that's good because, like what you alluded to, it's more or less the gold standard of hospitals. You might find some hospitals who choose not to go with the Joint Commission for a number of different reasons. They'll likely be accredited by someone or something else. But I think accreditation is a key component. One thing you want to keep in mind, of course, and this almost goes without saying, but even though I'm going to say it anyway, is just because a hospital is accredited doesn't mean it's going to be perfect. It doesn't mean it's going to go without its flaws or whatever else. And, if you're looking at a job within a hospital, within healthcare administration, you're like, oh, this hospital is accredited, so I've got smooth sailing, it should be easy going or whatever else. Or even that the Joint Commission's gone in and no marks against it or anything. It does not mean that the hospital is flawless in that. And this is something I want to throw out there too.
That's a good point. I might say, even though on my reading it says it's unannounced, it seems like we have advance notice that they'll be either they're in town, they're at one of our other facilities, and they'll be visiting ours, within the next few weeks. So it's like we have a heads up on it, and they start acting on that prior to them arriving.
Yeah, I think what a lot of them do is they'll give a time frame within the next couple weeks, within the next month or whatever. We're going to be making stops. For example, Intermountain Healthcare, which is a big one in Utah especially, but in Idaho as well, they will do regional visits. So we'll know, okay, they're going to be hitting northern Utah County within the next month or whatever else. So let's prepare for that because they're likely to be coming next week or, in 2 weeks or whatever else. So yeah, that's a great point. And really that's about it for me. Do any of you have anything else you'd like to add before I let you go?
No, I'm good.
No, we're good.
Okay, well, great job. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I appreciate the hard work that you put into this.
Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, we'll see you later.
Okay.
Bye.